Hey guys, happy Wally Went Friday, Financial Friday. Sorry, we have been super busy this last week. We apologize that we didn't drop a video this last Wednesday. As Harrison says, we are blessed and a little stressed. We've been working really hard and we honestly just couldn't pump out a video in time. So here we are, it's Friday, let's call it Financial Friday. I figured I would share with you something that's very important in our business right now. We are buying more commercial real estate, as you know, specifically apartment buildings. We're buying buildings that have tenants in them, and there comes a level of financial due diligence with that. This week, I dodged a $40,200 bullet. So I figured what better way than to do this new Financial Friday than to show you guys an absolute turd of a property that we did not buy, thankfully. You have to look at these as wins. You know, if a project falls through because it was going to cost you a lot of money in a bad way, you have to look at that as a win. So we did win this week, but here we are. When you're buying a piece of property, a commercial asset, a residential building, they're valued on how much income they generate. They're not valued. There's a component of the value where this is what the building costs to rebuild. You have to consider that, right? But when you're purchasing an older building or any building that's generating income, that building is valued on how much income it creates. So when you write an offer in good faith on a piece of property, you're expecting a certain level of income and a certain level of expenses. Now it's your job as the investor and the buyer to verify that income and those expenses. This week, I just want to show you and I just want to talk to you about verifying income. It was a $40,000 bullet just on verifying income. So when it comes to verifying income, you want to see a couple different things. You want to see rent receipts. You want to see leases, even if they're tenants at will. You want to see leases. You want to see accounting statements, right? If there's a property manager in place, they probably have a very organized ledger for you that shows you all of the income month to month, broken down by tenants, by parking, by laundry, all that stuff. You want to see that. And then the best case scenario, which you should always ask for, is you should always request bank statements. It's very hard to fudge the numbers as a seller when someone's looking at your bank statements, because that's the money that's exactly coming in, and that's the money that's exactly going out for expenses. So I got all that, and I decided to go and create this little spreadsheet. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. And we decided to look at all the tenants in this building over the last 5 months. 2020 has been kind of a weird year. It is what it is with coronavirus. I figured if it looks good for the last 5 months, that's good enough for me. So we had a 4-unit building and we had an 8-unit building. Looking at the 4-unit building, I went here and I made this column for this is the rent that the building was supposed to be generating. 4-unit building was supposed to be generating about $36.58 every month, and the 8-unit building was supposed to be generating about $53.10 every month. Now it had 2 empty units, which I was very excited about, because that means I don't have to kick anybody out to increase the rents, or I don't have to it's just easier to make improvements when nobody lives there and get top of market rents. So going through this 4-unit building, unit number 1, he's inconsistent, but he's paying. All right, I'm cool with that. Anything in yellow, by the way, is an issue. You can see there's a lot of yellow. Unit 2, supposed to be making $923 a month in rent. And over the last 5 months, they've paid 1 month and it wasn't even the full rent. That's an issue. Unit number 3 looks good. Unit number 4, not too bad. They had a little misstep back in earlier in the year, but he was good faith effort, shows that he's, working to make this happen. And then we get to the 8-unit building. And as you can see, unit 2L, 2R, 3L, 3R, all of them are just dumpster fires of tenants. They're not paying. Were planning on doing evictions before Corona happened. I had no idea, right? I had no idea that I'd be inheriting a building essentially with 5 non-paying tenants. That's a big deal. So I made this little column right here. And this is the difference in what is actually collected versus what is supposed to be collected. So for the month of August, that 8-unit building was off by $4,340 that month. In July, it was off by $3,440. In June, off by $3,440. You look at the 4-unit building, it's off by $1,100. $6,673, $2,673. You know, the total difference in marketed rents to actual collected rents is off by $12,440 in 5 months, right? You're looking at an average between the two buildings, $16,749. That in difference from what was marketed versus to what is actual. And I wouldn't have never known this unless I requested those bank statements, unless I had spoken with the property management company and gotten those ledgers showing everything. I would have no idea, right? Because how could you? It's looking at an average of $3,349 difference per month in actual vacancy that you're not collecting rent on. Multiply that by 12, that's $40,200. And in this climate, especially with coronavirus, when there's eviction moratoriums on and you can't get rid of non-paying tenants, who knows how long this could go, right? And in Massachusetts, where the laws favor tenants very much, evictions in general are a very slow process. So you want to make sure that you've got really strong, stellar tenants that pay your rent from day one, unless you budget to buy the property when it's not performing. I didn't do that. I gave them a fair offer, expecting it to perform a certain way. And then after due diligence, I found out it wasn't. So what I proposed to the agent is I said, look, I understand there's some weird things going on. Why don't you put a year, $40,200, why don't you put a year of difference in escrow for me? And every month that those tenants don't pay, you send me a check for $3,349. They didn't like that idea. I thought it was fair. I thought it was honest. I would have worked hard in good faith to get these tenants back and paying. Maybe there's some issues with the apartments that I wasn't sure of yet, but he didn't like it. He offered to give me 3 months, and in this climate was just too big of a risk for me. I couldn't take it. Now, this is my 90, next tab here. This is 90 and 92 High Street in Springfield, the video we did last week, right? 8-unit building, 8-unit building. A lot of these tenants are on Section 8 or Wayfinders. There's some type of assistance. It's very, very easy to confirm the housing payment versus the tenant payment. And they all had rent receipts. I could see it in the accounting statements. I could see it in the bank statements. Everything here is green except for these white rows that are vacant. And those will be rented October 1st. So this building is like a perfect example of what your financial due diligence should look like for your marketed purchase price compared to, So, and that's just income, right? Your expenses can be off as well. We can do another video diving into how to verify expenses, but this was just a $40,000 bullet just based on income. So it's very important if you're looking at these types of properties, these types of assets, they truly need to be assets, because if I bought it at this purchase price, it would have turned into a liability and I might have had to hold it while I evicted a bunch of non-paying tenants over 12 months. And that's no bueno. So we hope you enjoy it. It's definitely an exciting part of our business. It's very fun to do the due diligence and kind of become like a detective combing through all the bank records, but it's so important to verify because you don't want to take this $40,000 hit on the chin, especially if it's your first or your second project, or if it's your 10th project, doesn't matter. You don't want to do it. So we hope you enjoyed this. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave us a comment in the bottom. We always reach out. We appreciate you taking this time for Financial Friday. Let's go with that. All right, guys, thanks. We'll talk to you soon next Wednesday.